Have you ever had the displeasure to interact with Just Cause Twitter page before? And do you want to be treated like you don't belong to the JC community for merely doing so? Then do I have a video for you. There's been happening quite a bit between the JC social media manager and our community, so I decided to finally let more people know about this absolute BS. So, small story time in case you're new to the channel. I've been making mods since late 2017 after discovering JC3 in 2016, and it became my favorite game of all time. I spent countless hours playing the game, but especially the multiplayer mod that inspired me to make mods myself. It led to me becoming staff on two, back then, huge servers that I loved playing on, and eventually created my own server. I also got to be admin on the Just Cause 3 and 4 mod sites, and got to be tester of the new game from Nanos, the team that created Just Cause 3 multiplayer. But most importantly, it also led me to getting to know all of my best friends. So then, let's start this tragedy. You might probably expect, since I make mods, the people at the JC social media team are gonna ignore my stuff when posting community content. And you're absolutely right. But not just that, the guy that is currently leading the Twitter account fucking despises me and my work. Now, before we start, I obviously won't name who the guy is. Some of you are gonna know who he is. Please don't go after him, that's really not okay. Pussy. Now then, when JC4 came around, that Twitter page started posting community content. Obviously, I never expected to be featured with anything, since they mostly feature clips from Reddit and stunt videos from YouTube. They also never mentioned any modder on any of their videos, ever. I did post a few videos on Reddit over the months, and surprisingly, they actually posted one of my clips, and even one where I was obviously using one of my mods to make vehicles swim. I continued like usual, and eventually, with the leak of a JC3 beta build that has camera tools, I found fun in making a trailer-style cinematic video. To my surprise, they actually asked me below my Twitter post if they can feature it on their profile sometime, and I happily agreed. That was in August of 2020, shortly after I uploaded the video. Earlier that year, I met an artist who's done a bunch of Just Cause art before, since 2019. We made a few Rico skins together, and for jokes, we hit some memes on them to add a little more fun to it. The skins were received really well, and we're super happy with them. But Mr. Square Enix social media manager guy didn't think so. Instead of doing the natural thing, which would either be finding the memes funny or just ignoring them, he went,
"It's a hard R." Oh, look at that. Drop the hard R.
Yes, he seriously thought we were trying to be racist, and tried to hide racist symbols in our mods. Like, how? He argued that some of the memes, like the Gotham hand and Pepe, are seen as racist by some people. That would make sense if we would have made racist comments in the past, but we never did. It was always just for dumb memes. He was also offended by some memes of the artist's work before, like a small Ugandan Knuckles in a fighter jet. He also claimed he investigated us, so our YouTube channels I assume, and still concluded we were trying to be racist.
What the hell?
Where in the absolute fuck is he seeing anything racist in this content? Like, how much crack does he snort on an hourly basis? Well, in the end he blocked both of us on Twitter without having the balls to say anything.
I was like...
My friends confronted him on another big Just Cause Discord that he's also in, and in a lengthy discussion of the same points being repeated over and over by him. How we are supposedly using racist symbols, blah blah blah. I eventually arrived at home and sent a longer message with my point of view. We continued in DMs and came to an agreement where he understood my point, but we would have to remove those hate symbols from the skins and be careful with things like that in the future. In the end, he still never featured my video though.
Oh my dude, you just got pranked! Bet you didn't see that one coming, huh? Fuck you!
The artist was also promised some JC merch in March of 2020 for the amazing artwork she did. Well, she actually only received it in November of 2020 after being ignored for several months. Shortly after, I DM'd the Square guy and thanked him that they still sent it after all that happened, and I quote his response. Absolutely, no hard feelings, and I'm glad it all got sorted. When you take action like that, it's because we're trying to stop other people from being exposed to objectionable material as quickly as we can, It's not because we're trying to cut all ties. Following that, he actually offered to send me some too. He has apparently seen my work before and knew I was part of the community for some time now. Again, I was quite surprised, but also quite happy. He told me they were working remotely at this time, and he'd asked one of the few people in the office to send some merch to him, so he can see what they still have. It took until early January until he knew some details, and the last time I ever heard about it was on January 21st, when he said the merch is on its way to him and he'd let me know when he sent it out. Well, that was a little over 6 months ago. And the best part, he still has my address, even though he hasn't sent anything. Or at least he would, if I would have given him my actual address. But I'm not the only one who never got mine. In March of 2021, another friend of mine who was streaming some Just Cause on Twitch and mentioned it's her birthday in a few days. The Square guy actually happened to also be watching the stream and promised her some merch for her birthday. But I don't think I need to tell you that she never got hers either. I actually never bothered to message the guy again after it was obvious I wouldn't get mine. She did message him a few times though, asking him for updates on it. She was ignored every single time. He probably discovered that she was with us evil modders and didn't have the balls to just tell her that he'd changed his mind about it. He's not just against us two though, he's also been ignoring Killpro for a while, another friend of mine who's done some mods in the past. Though he did eventually reply to him again. Guess it would have been too obvious if he kept ignoring everyone related to us. Again, if he suddenly turns against modders and people associated with them, he could at least tell us that he doesn't want us in the community and to leave him alone instead of just straight up ignoring us. But it doesn't seem like he has the balls to do any of that. The artist, and Audible Swiftness, another artist, who does JC art from time to time, collabed a while ago, creating this piece with the 2 custom skins and the Scramps car in the background. Squigsky obviously ignored it, but as soon as Audible posted the next JC drawing that was free of filthy mod references, he instantly asked him if he can feature it sometime.
Hey, old man, give me everything.
Call an ambulance! Call an ambulance! But not for me!
Dab88 is a YouTuber who's done some amazing stunt videos in the past, and still does to this day. I was actually really looking up to him before the drama happened, and I got to see how he really is. In June of 2020, another Just Cause stunter entered the scene, Rico Star. I did talk with Dab in DMs a while now, when suddenly Rico Star started to gain popularity, and his channel quickly gained subscribers and started to catch up with Dab. Dab claimed in our DMs that Rico Star was using subbots, but far worse than that, he claimed Rico Star was harassing him. Dab also joined Evolve Stunting in 2014, but was thrown out sometime later for his scummy behavior. He also accused one of the founders of Evolve, Waken4, for harassing him, when it's obvious he's just bitter about being kicked out of Evolve. But here comes the Galaxy Brain part. Now he claims Rico Star is an alt account of Waken that he uses to also harass him. This isn't just the dumbest thing I've ever heard, it's also disproven by the fact that Rico Star wasn't even in the JC community before starting his channel. After briefly joining my server and being an ass to everyone, he quickly left again. I do agree that some people did provoke him with dumb shit posts, and that is not completely on him, but most of it is. As example, he mentioned that he went to R&R school, and he was asked for his portfolio out of interest. He acted like a total scumbag, like, I'm older than you, I don't have to prove anything to you.
Hey champ, that's really interesting. Next time, keep it to yourself.
And it was just a simple question out of curiosity. Fast forward to earlier this year, and there was some discussion with Dab in another JC Discord, where Squareman is also in. Dab brought up the BS with Waken and Rico Star harassing him and kept bringing up the same BS over and over. Not long after, we noticed some of our messages that had arguments against him were deleted, without even a comment from the staff team. Around this time, we also discovered some of Dab's glorious tweets, where he called a bunch of people cunts and whatever a vagina neck is. We confronted the admins about just deleting messages, and they just said it was to avoid drama. So I only delete our messages and not Dab's. He also confronted Squareman and he keeps siding with Dab, claiming his behavior on Twitter does not matter. So, then why did our posts with harmless memes matter? Those were on Twitter too. But to top it all off, he even asked Rico Star to apologize to Dab, even though Dab made all those false allegations and pulled all the other BS. This stuff happened all over once again, a week later or so, with the same outcome. Our stuff gets censored, Dab is fine. How can an entire staff team and especially a public representative of an entire gaming community be biased to this one person, when it's obvious he's the one causing this stuff to happen in the first place? Me confronting Squareman about Dab was our last interaction, since I just didn't want to bother with the same half-assed replies that just repeat over and over and avoid the obvious facts. I shortly after left the other large JC server, since it just made me feel bad about all the BS and censorship happening there. Funnily enough, that prompted Squareman to make an announcement that members should keep drama down, another half-assed reaction to the problem. Since then, a bunch of people actually caught on to what kind of person Dab is, though nothing much else has changed. Squareman has his piece from all the evil Unlimited community members, and if not, he just proceeds to ignore them anyways. I really do not understand how you can have views like this when representing an entire community on social media. You are biased to a single person and the rest has to play along or get slapped or ignored or blocked. And I'm pretty sure the same BS is gonna happen in the Just Cause mobile community. He created a Discord for it, that's as dead as it gets. And as you might imagine, you're not even allowed to post images or emotes from other servers. It honestly feels like he treats the Just Cause community like a group of toddlers that can't watch after themselves without him. Just as comparison, take a look at the Payday Twitter account. They even encourage the memes instead of blocking people for them. This is what a good burn account should be like, but I digress. But with this, I can finally get this whole BS out of my head and forget about it. I hope you gained some insights on how the game's social media representation is absolute BS. Anyways, I'll see you in the next video.
So that's
Jeez, is that true?
that's delightful.
What is that actually happened?
Of course it happened. I think this is a reflection of how like just
Oh my god!
dark we've become.
Oh, oh my god!
A lot of weird.